In this video, I try out the all-new McLaren Artura Spider in my Tennessee cabin hitting the foothills, tail of the dragon, along with some quiet time through the Smoky Mountains National Park, and, of course, some performance testing. Hey everybody, I'm up at the cabin in Tennessee. I've been here for a week, and I got the keys to the McLaren Artura Spider, all new. And in this video, I'm gonna go over everything you need to know about this car. We're gonna take it on some amazing drives, Foothills Parkway, tail of the dragon, through the Smoky Mountains National Park. And we're gonna have a lot of fun with this car. The fall colors are just amazing. It's a little bit overcast right now, but when the sun comes out, this car, which is painted in volcano blue, just absolutely glows. It's got a lot of metallic flake in it, and it reminds me of my volcano orange that I had way back when I had the McLaren MP412C. Being a Spider compared to the coupe, it did add about 130 pounds. However, McLaren added horsepower to this car, added about 20 horsepower, and revamped the exhaust. So a lot of people about the coupe were complaining about the sound of the 6-cylinder engine that's in here, but they've revised it. This one actually has the optional $5,000 sport exhaust. It sounds really good. It actually has some pops and crackles to it. To compensate for the additional weight, they added the 20 horsepower, and this is something that's really cool that McLaren did. They will actually retune the coupes and add that horsepower into the coupe as well. So if you're a McLaren Artura coupe owner, you can take that in. They will flash your McLaren and add that additional 20 horsepower. We're gonna take this out today. 0 to 60 on the Artura is supposed to be around 3 seconds. I don't know if I have enough room out here to do a complete quarter-mile test because all the roads out here are super, super windy, as you'll see later on in the video. But I'm pretty sure I can get a quick 0 to 60 test and see what this thing does. It's got a 3-liter twin turbocharged V6 making about 600 horsepower, and it's got an electric motor between the 8-speed dual clutch transmission and the engine, and that adds about another 100 horsepower. So this car is making about 690 to 700 horsepower, and this car is weighing in at about 3,400 pounds. So as per McLaren, always has a really good power to weight ratio. Walking around to look at the outside of the car, of course, we got the volcano blue. This has the black pack exterior. We got carbon fiber mirrors, carbon fiber fender vents, carbon ceramic brakes with the red calipers. This car is equipped with the Pirelli P0 Corsa tires. In the back, we got 295 35 20s, and in the front, 235 35 19. So McLaren's known for not putting super crazy heavy wheels on that car to save weight. Some additional exterior cues to know you're driving the Spider are these rear vents in the back deck lid. This is not present on the coupe. These are also in carbon fiber on this specific car. And in the back, you can see we got some additional ventilation for the engine, and like a little kind of hole back here. And you got the black pack on this car, which blacks out a lot of the components. Over to this side here, we have flying buttresses in glass, which is really cool because you can actually see through them. And when you're inside the car looking back, you can actually see through here, and it eliminates a lot of blind spots that might have in another car. You can raise and lower the top using the key fob here. So the top is down obvious right now. If you want to raise it, it takes about 11 seconds. All you do is hold this lock button right here, and as you approach the car, it will put the top up in about 11 seconds. This also has the 9,500 electrochromatic roof, which I'll go over in a second, but boom, there you are. The top is already up and the windows are up. If you want to lower it back down, all you do is hold the unlock button, which is the McLaren logo right here. So walk up and hold this down right here, and the car will drop the top back down. Dropping the windows, raising the back tonneau cover right here. There is no storage in here like some of the other cars, but it drops the top real fast. You can hold the button down, it will drop the side windows and this rear window in the back here, which is actually pretty cool because you can drop that rear window while you're driving with the top up and hear the V6 out the back pretty good. Get in, there's a handle, which is pretty apparent right here. Just there's a little button under here, right there, you just press and this opens up. What I did notice first about the Artura is it's really easy to get into. It's got a very low door sill right here. So when you're jumping in, the car's pretty low. So you're just not kind of reaching over a high ledge right here. And it's really comfortable to get in and just get in here and drive. To close the doors, it actually has soft closed doors. So all you do is just kind of drop them down. You don't have to slam it. You just drop it right there and then it closes back down. This has the Bowers & Wilkins upgraded stereo system. It's got the performance spec Alcantara interior. You can spec different interiors in this car. I think this is about $9,000 for this performance spec interior, which is Alcantara and some bright work around here. This car has also ambient lighting, which you can change all the colors. And it's kind of in this McLaren logo looking thing here. I'll drop it what it looks like at night. It is really bright. and you can adjust the brightness to dim it down. But when you're driving this car, in your peripheral vision, the lights are actually pretty bright, and it's really dark out here in the mountains. I actually had to lower it down a little bit to be a little less distracting, but nevertheless, ambient lighting in the McLaren, pretty cool to have. So I'm going from left to right. Here is our window controls. This is how you open the door. Just pull up here, the door opens. We got some buttons on the left here. This is the front lift system to raise the front up, which is actually pretty nice, because on previous McLarens, there were some little buttons down here that you had to fiddle with, and it was kind of hard to find and hard to activate sometimes. So glad to have a dedicated button there. This is for the driver assistance package. This has about an $8,000 package, which has notifications. It has distance cruise control, traffic alert in the back, and also it alerts you when you're getting in and out of your lane. So when this is on, it'll have a little display in the dash right here. And if you kind of move over across the lines, it makes like this little knocking noise in the sound system to alert you that you've passed out that lane. Right here, you got your door lock, and this is how you open the frunk. We'll go ahead and open the front cup in the front here and check out how much storage we have. And it's got a lot of space. So in here, we got our fire extinguisher, emergency care kit. This is for the charger, which I have over there. I'll show you that in a minute. Right here, you can plug in your 12-volt charger. And if you want to actually charge the car using the high voltage charger, the port is on the left-hand side. We press right here, and there's our plug to plug in the charger. This has a 7.4 kilowatt hour battery. If you plug it in via regular 110 outlet using the chargers they provide for you, which is right over here, it takes about 7 hours to charge if the battery is empty. Now, of course, you could plug this into a level 2 charger like you might have for your Tesla or something like that, and it'll probably charge in about an hour. The gas cap is on the other side over here, so if you press this, this will pop open. This is where you put the fuel in. Onto the steering wheel controls. This has McLaren's new kind of binnacle system, which means the steering and the display are attached together and they move as one. So down here, right down here, there's a button that you can press, and it raises and lowers the whole thing as one unit, and you can come forward and backward. This is actually pretty nice to have, and it provides a lot of the controls at your fingertips on the left and right. So on the left, we have your suspension controls. So I'm gonna go ahead and start the car. I will note that it says start engine, but actually just starts up the car in electric mode. That seems to be the default mode for a lot of cars these days, just to start in electric mode. So now that we're started up, we're in electric mode. You can see we have 13 miles of electric range. I've seen this go up as high as 16 miles and the battery's completely charged. And when I did receive the car, it only has like 10% battery. And that was gonna take 7 hours to charge using the charger that I just showed you. But if you drive this thing in track mode, it uses the engine to charge the battery. I think within about 10, 15 minutes of just kind of normal driving, and you could see this on the dash right here where it says charge, it charged up to 100% and we were ready to go. So over here, you got your turn signals and your brake controls. On this side, we have our wiper controls. Down here, we have our cruise control settings. And then down here is where you select all the different things that you want to display on this left side of the display. So right now we are in the hybrid battery charging display, and you can select from different modes, and it depends on how you have all this set up. So if we're in electric mode, obviously, you know, we're just not going to be charging the battery. But if we hit this button and put it into comfort, it starts the engine up right here. Now it'll be interesting, if you start in electric mode and start the engine driving, it actually has this warm-up mode called conditioning engine, which you can see right here. And it's driving, while the engine's on, it's still driving on the electric power and the revs don't come up. And after the engine is warmed up, then you get the additional 600 horsepower to get going. So as you can see, we're in our hybrid battery charging screen right here. And if you pull on the stock right down here, you can switch this from max to auto. If you leave it in here, it'll just charge back up to this amount. But if you pull this button, it'll go into the max mode, where it's going to target the max charge for the battery. Now, if we go into up to sport mode, the display changes. You can hear the exhaust got a little bit louder right there. This does, I believe this does have a valved exhaust. I'm going to give it some revs in a few minutes after it's warmed up. It actually sounds pretty good for a 3-liter V6. So now that we're in sport, you can see the display changed, and we have the same thing. Pull the stock for auto charging. Now right here in auto, you can see the setting is kind of halfway down. So it's only going to charge the battery there. But if you want max, you pull that. Now our target is max, and we're at 89% battery charge. Hit this binnacle button again, we go into full track mode, and the display changes completely differently now. Now you have the RPMs across the top, and you can see we have our charge. And as I give it a couple revs, you can see it kind of charging up. Now, if you kind of hold the revs at like 3,000 yourself, you can see the charge level goes up as well. Over here is our power meter. When we go for a drive, you'll see as I'm getting on the accelerator, you'll see how much electric power the car is giving it by using the meter right here. Some other settings using this, we can kind of slide up to your phone to connect your phone via Bluetooth. We have your variable drift control. If you turn ESC off, you can do some variable drift control stuff over there. I'm not going to be doing that today. And if we scroll up again, here's our launch control. Interesting for launch control, there is no launch control button in the McLaren Artura. And I'll demo launch control later on in this video, but all you have to do is just jam on the brake with your left foot and hit the throttle, and it'll engage launch mode. You let go and you do 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds. All right, so scrolling up, what other settings we got here? This is our kind of trip meter, our miles per gallon, how long you've been running for, and we're back to our hybrid battery. On the left side here, this is where you could turn ESC on and off, and this is how you switch your handling modes. So when your hand's on here, you just kind of hit the top button, we go into sport, and then you go into track. So those are the 3 settings for there. Now also on our steering wheel, of course, we have the shift paddles, left for downshift, right for upshift. Now McLarens are kind of cool that it's a toggle right back and forth. So if you want to, you can use either side for both. If you want to shift down on this side, just press forward for down and back for up. Same thing over here. On this side, you would pull back to downshift and push down to upshift. Okay, so I'm gonna put this back down into electric mode to keep it quieter for our video. So we'll bump that down and it should shut off the engine. Did miss this button down, and over here we have our lights, so you can turn on the rear fog light there or use your lights on that side. Down here we have our adjustments for the mirrors, so if you pull it to the right, you can move the mirror up and down there. And if you want to engage the 360 cameras that this car has, you press this button when you're in drive, and this will pop up a really cool 360 camera. So right now we got the 360 camera displayed on the screen, and you could actually use these arrows to display different things. So if we press the forward button, we get our front view. So if you're parking, moving forward, or you want to see if there's anything in front of you, that makes it super easy. You can back up here and look at the side profile if you're backing in so you don't hit your wheels on that side. And of course, you can go to the left side as well. And when you're in reverse, you can view the rear camera on the main screen right here, and it's got some guiding lines as well. So in reverse, you got the rear view camera here, the 360 over here, super nice to have. Down here to the middle, you got your engine start stop, your drive neutral reverse, center console. This has the optional McLaren branded center console. Pop this open here. We have 2 USB ports, USB-C for your phone and Apple CarPlay, and then a USB-A for additional charging. On to the right, we got our speakers again, door controls for the passenger side. Up here is where you can lower and raise the rear window. So you can go right here and pull that window up. And if you press it again, it keeps going up all the way to the up position. Go like this and it pulls it back down. And this button right here raises and lowers the top. You can actually raise and lower the top up to about 30 miles an hour in this car. On the back, we got some more speakers back here from the Bowers & Wilkins system. And then there's some vents in here, which I'm not exactly sure what that is. That could be for HVAC, or they were saying that the optional sport exhaust in the McLaren Artura that costs about $5,100 brings additional engine noise into the car. So I'm not sure exactly where that comes into the car, but it could be these vents are somewhere else back in here. Okay, so on to the infotainment. Of course, we got a touch screen, which is nice, and we got a nice volume knob. Now, this is very easy to use. If you move this and you hit this down arrow, you can access easily all the different volumes for different things. So your music, your alerts, your telephone, and your messages. So, you know, if you want your navigation one volume and stuff like that, you can kind of adjust that right here. So that's an easy to access feature right there. And then your touch screen here, you can go here where you got your media, your phone, your built-in navigation. And then if you back up, if you swipe down here, you get access controls to your brightness and different settings here too. When you're in any of these settings, you just press this button to go back. So navigation, press this to go back to the main menu. Here's your variable drift control. When we turn off ESC, you can adjust the different settings like that. Go back here. And then there's our audio settings. So we got the Bowers & Wilkins, so you have different studio, on-stage, driver focus. You can adjust your bass, treble, and mid-range, and you can also do your balance and fader. Press this to go back. Driving positions, you can have multiple memory seat driving positions right here for different people who are using the car. Going into the settings, there's a ton of stuff in here. Another welcome addition to McLaren that's in the McLaren Artura and the 750S is Apple CarPlay. There's a cord right here I got plugged into my iPhone. You can go to the CarPlay menu here, and then of course it's a touchscreen. The infotainment's a little low in the dash because you kind of got to look down. It might have been nice to have it a little bit higher and more in your line of sight, but it works really well. So you got your Spotify, you got your Apple Maps, and you can go to all the different settings in here for your CarPlay stuff. If you get the $3,100 technology packs, you get the Bowers & Wilkins stereo, you get the 360 park assist, and you get a hidden wireless phone charger. You normally wouldn't see it anywhere, but if you look way underneath here, you drop the phone down in here, there's a little kind of spring-loaded mechanism in there. You drop it in there, and that's your phone holder, and it actually has wireless charging as well. So final price with all the options is $344,718. Starts at $273, of course. I think, you know, without some crazy options in this car, and the car's the car, man, it drives amazing. I'm about to show you that. You could get out of this car for about in the low threes. All right, so now we are gonna get the car into track mode. It is warmed up now here. We're gonna give it some revs so you can hear what the V6 sounds like. Enough talk, let's go out, hit the Foothills Smoky Mountains National Park, tail the dragon, hit lunch at Topoco with the McLaren Artura Spider. So right now I just entered into the Smoky Mountains National Park and I'm in sport mode. Car actually sounds pretty good. The weather's amazing out here. The leaves are just starting to change. Top-down weather is just incredible. The park is actually pretty crowded now, so we won't be able to go very fast. But one of the really cool things about the Artura is that it has this electric mode. So there's not many electric-only convertibles. And when you're driving through the park, you can actually hear the water rushing beside us. I'm gonna put it in electric mode now. And it's really kind of nice just to cruise through the park in an electric convertible without making the noise. You wouldn't think that's one of the benefits of a sports car or a hybrid sports car. Driving an electric sports car through the park with the water rushing beside us is actually a pretty cool experience. And we got about 15 miles of range in the Artura. Now in electric only mode, you don't have a lot of power, but we don't really need a lot of power now. So I'll go ahead and nail it. And you can hear a little bit of noise. You probably hear some wind noise coming through. But as we slow down, and I'm gonna pull off to the side right here, you kind of just hear the cars passing by us. And you might not be able to hear it beside me, but you can hear the water kind of coming through the river right here too. So look down here. If you look down, you can probably see the, I'm not sure which river or stream this is. There's a guy fishing down there. The Artura has a little mechanical electric sound. I think all cars that are electric only have to make some sound at slow speeds. And this has a kind of whistling, electromagnetic, whatever sound to it. But it's 58 degrees here, slightly sunny through the national park. And here we go, you can kind of see off to the right here, the streams. Pretty cool. Trying to think of how many other electric sports cars are out there that you can drive an electric only mode. I know the Artura is, of course there's the SF90 Spider, that's probably twice the price of this car just to get into it. For convertibles, I think that might be it. I'm not sure if there's any others. Drop in the comments. I'm curious to see what other electric convertibles are out there in the sports car area. Pretty cool. Right here we're passing over a bridge, which is the entrance to Metcalf Bottoms. Next, we're heading from the cabin to meet up with some friends on the Foothills Parkway, where we can try out some launch control, do some 0 to 60 testing, and some rolling burnouts. The Foothills consists of 33 miles connecting US 129 and US 321 in Tennessee. This scenic drive offers a number of fabulous views east of Tennessee all the way to the Cumberland Mountains, some 50 miles to the west, and the Great Smoky Mountains is just a stone's throw to the east. The route has minimal traffic compared to other Smoky Mountain highways. It provides an easy, scenic connection for tourists between Tail of the Dragon, Pigeon Forge, or Gatlinburg. The Foothills is included in the Smoky Mountain Loop Tour as well. And even better, this road is just 5 minutes from my cabin. We are entering onto the Foothills. I'm behind a 765 LT stock, and behind me is Eric's 1100 765 LT. So right now we're in track. It's got a lot of throttle response. The battery comes online real fast. You can see right here by the power meter when the power goes up, that's how much battery power is coming in. So down here you can see our max battery power, 99%. And over here you can see when I let off, you can see it's charging. So let off, charge. If I give it a little more throttle, you can see it comes on power. And there's a lot of mechanical noises too. Mix of a lot of different sounds. You got the twin turbo engine, and you got the battery power. You got some kind of regen noise coming online back there. Look at the leaves coming through here, pretty cool. Pretty crazy. Look at the colors. Artura's pretty nimble here. We're in track. Feels more nimble than the Z06, but not as much drama though. Definitely can't hear a lot of engine noise like you can. I gotta say, the top down in the Artura coming through these roads is pretty cool. So I can bump this down into sport mode now. You can see it changes the display. Now we'll have the ignition cut shifting, so it's not using the seamless shift as it is in track mode, so it gives you a little more feedback between the shifts. And we just passed by a park ranger. Just putting the brakes on. Hopefully he's not coming back the other direction. But we weren't going too fast just now, so I think we'll be all right. Now if we're just cruising, I bump this down into comfort. I want to feel the different suspension and see how it reacts to these roads. Yeah, so now it's a little more floaty. Definitely more comfortable, but let's see, we come around this sweeper in comfort. You can feel it kind of dipping around a little more. But for these roads, we're going to keep it in track. Now I'm going to show you how to do rolling burnout mode. This is a new feature for cars that are not LTs. You just got to take off the traction control all the way off. Cancel, press it once, and then you hold it down. And then it'll ask you to press again to confirm. At this point, ESC is completely off. It says confirmed. You need to be in manual mode in drive, and then you don't launch the car. You just let go of the brake and nail the throttle, or rev up and drop the clutch and give you a nice smoke show. Next up, we're going to try full launch control and see what the Artura Spider does from 0 to 60. All right, here we go. Launch engage. Launch control start. Boost building. It's ready. Go. Wow, a little spin in the second gear. There we go, 0 to 60, 2.9 without the rollout. Next up, we had from Topoco Lodge, we had lunch to run through Tail of the Dragon. Designated US 129, this road is bordered by the Great Smoky Mountains in the Cherokee National Forest, with 318 curves in just 11 miles, with no intersecting roads or driveways. It's considered to be the destination for thousands of motorcycles and sports car fans throughout the year. It was actually a pretty busy day on Tail of the Dragon, so we had to deal with a lot of traffic. I'll just show a few highlights and then cut back to the cabin for my wrap-up thoughts on the Artura Spider. Up here, someone unfortunately went off the road. While Tail of the Dragon can be insanely fun, it can also be quite dangerous with about 100 crashes each year. This Lex SUV is kind of cooking it here. Jeez, look at that thing, man. I think it'd be worth that thing flipping over. What? I can hear his tires squealing. All right, so that's a wrap of my few days with the McLaren Artura Spider. I gotta say, it was a lot of fun in the foothills, the Smoky Mountains National Park. It's kind of cool to have an electric hybrid car where, as you can see, you could just pass through some quiet spots in an open top, drop top, exotic convertible. Not many cars can really do that. And the car was nimble. It did well through the foothills, through Tail of the Dragon. Pretty lightweight, 3,400 pounds, 700 horsepower. It's no slouch. The electric power comes on instantly, eliminates any turbo lag. It's got a lot of torque and it really comes off the line pretty good. 0 to 60, as you saw, came in at 2.92 seconds. And with the rollout, that's like 2.7 seconds. So this thing's a rocket. I'm not sure what it would do in the quarter mile. Unfortunately, I don't have enough testing space up here. Every road around here has curves in it, and weren't able to do that. But I imagine it's low 10s at probably about 140 miles an hour. I did do like 139 in the Artura Coupe. This has a little more power. It feels like it has more than 20 horsepower more. That's to be determined. Maybe one day we'll get one of these on a dyno and see exactly what kind of horsepower it's putting out. Overall, a really, really fun car. I think what happens with McLaren is when they come out with new cars, people expect a lot. So, you know, when we went from 12C to 650S, it was kind of an incremental change, but when the 720S came out, it was just such a huge step in performance, and it just really took the entire car community by storm. It was just beating up on everybody. So when a new car comes out, you know, with a hybrid system and a new engine and all this updated technology, I think people just expect something really, really crazy. And McLaren's got a problem because they don't want to leapfrog a 750, which has an extra 50 horsepower and of course a little less weight. So it's an interesting game when you deal with, you know, entry-level McLaren cars versus the cars that are next steps up and not jumping ahead. You know, I'm sure this car can do a lot more performance-wise. Maybe there's an LT version coming soon. As far as pricing, this car came in at $344,000. I think it's got some options that, you know, me personally, I wouldn't have chosen. I don't think I would have got that electrochromatic roof for $10,000. The interior package for another $9,000. You know, it really doesn't add to the car from my perspective. So obviously, you know, when they put these cars out there, they want you to experience everything they have to offer. The driver assistance package for me in a sports car, I really don't need either. So although this one's $344,000, the base price $274. I think when you pick some paint and some decent options to experience the car, you're coming in at about $300,000 for a decently equipped McLaren Artura Spider. As always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up, helps the video and the channel. And let me know in your comments below what you think of the McLaren Artura Spider. We'll see you next video.